Hi and welcome back. Today we're going to try to reduce the poly count and reduce the amount of non-manifold edges in our 3D model for the Bambu printer. And we're also going to try and solve this in Blender. Over here I have my model and all of the parts are broken up, and some of them are really high poly and some of them are low, but I have over here the statistics pulled up. You can access that by going over to this window and having that checked on, and our goal is to have this number be at or below 1 million triangles. When you're in object mode and you select on something like the torso here, you can see there are 25,000, and then in some cases 284,000 for, like, say, the hair here. How do we deal with that problem? First of all, I want to show you just on a simpler model what we're dealing with. This is a fairly low poly form, and if I tab into edit mode, that's up here, you can see how many polygons we have. And if you add a subsurface division modifier, this is going to make things more smooth, but it's going to increase the poly count. So if you look at my model here, I have shade smooth turned on and it looks great, but over in Bambu it's a little bit geometric, and for me this one's okay, but I've actually added a subdivision surface modifier to this one to get it down to this level. It was a lot more geometric before. So to do that, back in object mode, click on it and go to add modifier and just type in sub, and this will come up. And in my opinion, you don't really want to change any of the settings, and you can see how it smoothed it out. If I click apply and then go up to edit mode, you'll see that I have a lot more polygons. They're n-gons now, but that's okay. But the mesh increased in triangle, so now it's 480. If you do have a lot of polygons, and this is an identical copy to the one I just made, you can add a Decimate modifier, and that will take away polygons. Adding that one here, if you change the ratio or you lower it down, say in this case I'm going to go to 0.3, and you'll see that my face count drastically reduced, and I actually got it back to almost to where it was just a few minutes ago. If you're trying to strike a balance between how much geometry you have and how smooth you want your model, this is a good way to do it. Then I'm going to apply this as well. Remesh is really important because you will get non-manifold edges. So what that means is over here I have 286 non-manifold edges in this model, and that's fairly low. When I first brought the model in, I had 250,000, and it's just too much for the software to repair. This is on the high end of that number, so if I have, close to 300 and I hit repair, it'll take maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and it can fix them most of the time. But I'm going to try and fix that beforehand. So in this case, if you have overlapping geometry like I have some holes in my model. These sort of things happen as you're modeling, and you can even see there's geometry inside the model here. An easier way to fix this than going around and filling it is to add a remesh. Remesh does add a lot of geometry though, so just be aware. So when you click on remesh, it changes this, and it drastically increased the amount of triangles. And if you lower this number, you'll get more polygons. So if I lower this down, say quite a bit here, you'll start to actually get some destruction as well. So in this case, we have 4,684 polygons. It's just a lot, but it will make this into a model that works. So let me show you that. Let's export it by selecting it. Go to export, STL, and I've already made a folder, and I've already exported one file before, and I've named it test, and it will maintain that same name. You want to leave apply modifiers checked on in case you forget to apply them, and then you want to have selection only on. And so let's export this, come over to Bambu, import, and bring in this model. And now you can see I have 24 non-manifold edges. and that refers to all of the holes that are existing in my model. Let's fix that. Export it again with the same exact name to the same exact folder with both of these checked on. And now replace this model with a new one. There it is, and now I have clean geometry and I have a fill, so that works really well. It did increase the polygon count, so let's go back and fix that. One thing we can do is add a Decimate modifier. So if I hit Shift D and I have that copy of it, I'll now add Decimate, lower the polygon count, and it looks just as good, but then I had 3,800, now I have 1,900. So I've drastically reduced the amount of polygons, but I didn't really change the quality all that much. And we can test this one real quick too. There it is, and now it's in there with a much lower polygon count and no non-manifold edges. The last one I want to show you here is a Solidify. So a Solidify is going to add geometry to thin walls, and hopefully will fix the issue of having too many polygons. So in this case, if I add a Solidify modifier, I can change the thickness of it, and you can see what happens. It adds some wall. And what that will do, hopefully, is create non-manifold edges as well. Now this will remain open on the top, but if that's something I want, then that's how you deal with thin walls and still have something that is going to actually print. So let's have that one selected. Check it out. And that one works as well. Before it would not work because it had thin walls. So now that's one way to deal with that. And if you wanted something that was a little bit more rounded, you can go back and add the Subdivision surface modifier. It will increase the poly count. And there's that one brought in. It has 772 polygons and it has no non-manifold edges. So by adding the Solidify, I've kept the polygon count low and also simultaneously dealt with the non-manifold edges issue. So with larger models like this Minotaur here, I will go through each one of these and make a determination whether I have too much geometry, whether a Solidify modifier or a Decimate modifier works. In issues like this one here, where I have this hair that I've created out of a mesh, I would add a Solidify modifier to it and hopefully then add a Decimate modifier to reduce poly count, and that will cut down on any non-manifold edges within that type of geometry. All trying to strike a balance to keep this number below 1 million.